today's tutorial we'll have a look at the lights in Cinema4D camera and introduction to animation. So let's get started. So how you can create lights, as you can see here on this panel we have bulb, and when you click this button this window will pop up, and these are different kinds of lights. Okay, the second way is you can come to create panel and go to the lights and you can create lights. Okay, in order to see the light, let's build a scene, small scene. For example, we have plane. Okay, we collapse it, make it editable poly, select these three edges and just make them, press Ctrl and make the walls. Okay, and then we come here and create a sphere and we just make it a little bit smaller, put it here. Okay, and then we create torus. Okay, and similarly we'll give them some materials. Come here, shader, new material. This is our walls. Okay, click and drag and we create a new material which is applied to this one and this one, and we call it objects. Okay, and let's give them yellow color, and the other one I just double click here and it will create a new material. Shortcut, click this one, delete this one, the old one, and give it somewhat blue. Okay, and also add some reflection, come add reflection legacy. Okay, and we don't want this much reflection, just come here and reduce the amount of reflection. 15% is enough. Okay, so now let's add the lights. So the number one light we have only light. This is actually called point light. Okay, so point light, as you can see, it's the source of this light is this point, and it is actually going in all directions. Okay, as you can see, when we move it, it's changing its direction somewhat. So like this is the center, so here is more dark bright area and here is dark area, and if we move it here and if I will move it outside the area, so now this is completely black, so light is not affecting. Okay, see, let's bring it inside again. Okay, so now to see the result we have to render the scene. So how we will render? There are two ways. One is there are two buttons. The number one is if you click this one, it will render the same view. Okay, and if I will click this button, it will open another window which is called picture viewer. Okay, and then you can see your render here. So what we will do is we just we will stick our picture viewer to our viewport so that we don't have to open it again and again. Okay, and then we come here and switch this button off because we don't want to see this button window here, so we just, and it will make it bigger. Okay, and second thing what we'll do is we just make our resolution smaller. Resolution is the final output size. How you can do is you can go to click this button, and this is our render settings window pop up. So go to the output value, and here we just want, like, suppose 500 by 500, and we close the window and we click render again. So now this is our size. Okay, so every time we have to see the result of the lighting, we have to click render, because this viewport will not show you the final result. Okay, so now let's go and see some of the settings for the lighting. For example, we come here, as always, the name, you can write down the name here, and then this coordinates, like the position, the world position in the viewport, and then rotation and scale does not matter. Rotation, if you want to rotate, this is 360 light, so it is emitting on all directions. Now go back to the general tab. General tab, we see the color of the light. If we change the color of the light, for example blue, okay, now render, so now see it is emitting a blue light everywhere. Let's get back to the white one. Then you have intensity. Intensity, like if you multiply it, become too much bright. Render, see, make it 100 default. And then you have shadow. Shadow have 3 different kinds. Let's see the difference between 3. First is soft shadow. We click this one, now you can see the shadow is little bit soft on the edges. The second one is hard shadow. When we click render, see it's hard shadow, but you see some of it's not smooth on the edges because of the lower quality, so we have to increase our quality. Okay, how we can increase our quality? This is actually because of anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing is like the edges are actually very rough, so if we come to the render setting, okay, and go to our anti-aliasing, it's a weird name, this one option, and we can see now this is by default is geometry, which is low resolution, so we have to make it best. Okay, and then we click render again, so now you instantly you can see it is very smooth and clean now. Okay, and then we have area shadow. Area shadow is also somewhat soft shadows, and actually area shadow is more close to the natural and real world lighting shadows. Okay, the second option is visible light. If we click this one on and render again, you can see now the light, the source of the light is visible in the scene. And also if you come to the viewport, you can see now this is a big circle is around this our light, so this is showing the range of our light. So let's suppose it is starting from this center and slowly going out and fading out. So if I will come to this, I will just go back and click render again, so now you can see this is our maximum source of light. If I will reduce this visibility smaller, so you can see the light becomes smaller, the visibility of the light becomes smaller. So now this is our default scene. Then you have options. Let's suppose, for example, if you switch off no illumination, now click render, you can see now there is no ambient illumination. Sorry, there is no illumination there. Okay, and if I will click ambient illumination on, it will remove main of the, so that it's like 100% balanced light everywhere. Okay, and then you have specular. If you switch off specular, so light will not affect specularity. If there is specularity on the object, you can see now, if you see this circle here and this blue area here, if I will switch off specularity, see the light will not affect this area and it will become very smooth from all sides. Okay, I think so this is enough for this type of light. Let's go and delete this light and create another kind of light, which is area light. Area light, actually you can see now we have a box, so this light is not emitting on all directions. This light is only emitting in one direction, which is actually always by default Z direction. For example, if you come here to the details and here you can see, I think there's an option here, For example, first we click render, so you can see that this light is emitting only in one direction, which is towards Z. So for example, I will just come here and tilt it. Okay, and then I will need to see there is an option so that you can restrict it to this only. I cannot remember where is this option. Noise, castings, photometric. Anyways, this is the size of the light. It's supposed 200 by 100. Okay, anyways, switch on the shadows from here, area shadows, and click render. So now you can see, if I will, let's make our room little bigger, or let's delete the walls, we don't need the walls anymore, and make our scene bigger. Okay, now you select the light and you bring it here. Now you can see, if in viewport also you can see that actually the light is casting from this side, and because this side is dark and this side is illuminated, so it's only casting from one side only. Okay, click render. See, the shadows are on this side. So if I will just make my light a little bit more straight, so the shadow will become longer and longer. See, they're becoming longer and darker because the light source is getting less. So let's come here and increase this more a little bit, make it up. Okay, then what more we have? For example, if you want to see the light in the viewport, in the render, so you come here and you switch off this option, show in render, so you can see this is the light source. And also, so if you want to see in the viewport, this is same thing. Show in reflection, click on. Now there is it's visible here, but if your floor also has, let's add reflection to our floor also. Okay, and we do not need too much, let's suppose 25% reflection. If I click render, see, you can see in the floor this light is visible. Okay, and as usual, if you come here and add roughness to your floor, okay, and you render now, so you see your floor is rough. Okay, and then we have, what more option we have is, from here you can change the shape of the object, this light source. You can make it circular, or you can make it line, or you can make it cylindrical, whatever shape you want. Hemisphere. Let's go back to the default, which is disk. Okay, show in render, show in, we just make it as default. Okay, the second option is, you come here, the fall off option. Fall off option is, you can see, I always recommend you whenever you are using light, always use fall off, and in fall off use always inverse square physically accurate, because it will give you somewhat close to the physical world lighting. So now you can see, if I switch off show in render, show in reflection, now you can see, if I will reduce my light, and I don't want my floor to be rough. See, now the light is very dim. If I will increase this area, it will start becoming bright. Okay, so it will give you more realistic result and more result close to the real world lighting if you use inverse square physical accurate. Okay, and then you have color. If you want to give a color, you can give it a color blue or and green might be. Okay, yeah, here is example. This is the z direction only. See, so when the light is emit, this is what I was going to tell you later, that now you are forcing your light only to act in z direction, not in the backward direction at all. This is that option. So now you can see it's not casting any kind of light behind its source. Everything is coming in one direction, which is the z direction. From here, if you want to make your density of your shadow less, you just come here and less the density. See, now it is less dark. The other way is like just change the color, give the density higher, and change the color to brighter dark white. It's the same effect. Okay, now let's move to the other light, which is spotlight. Spotlight, as it can see, it creates a spot. Okay, visually it's like this. So spotlight is always supported with two lights. See, now you cannot see anything other than the spot, the source of this light. Same options, main options are always same, like area, shadows, we give it like little tilt the light. And then if you come to the details section, you have outer angle. See, now you can make it outer wider. And then you have aspect ratio, better keep it 1. And you have inverse square physically accurate. So now if you come here and reduce this distance, see, your light is getting dim. Okay, so to give more nice effect, you just create another light, which is omni light. Create here and just decrease the opacity intensity of this one, for example like 25%. So now you come here and see, so you see the plane little bit outside and then more focus here. And similar way you can create you can switch off visible. So now you can see the visible source of light also. So you can see, if you come here and you can want to give an effect of a light is coming from far, you can come here and give this effect. Okay, now you can see this is a light source from there. And from here, if you switch off ambient illumination and just increase the opacity. Okay, another very important aspect for rendering is try to keep ambient occlusion on always. What is ambient occlusion? You can see now there is no dark shadows just exactly below the object where two objects are intersecting. As in real life, whenever there is two objects are interacting, there is a dark shadows close to the surface of that areas. So to achieve that effect, we just have to switch off ambient occlusion. So we come to the render setting and go to the effect and switch off ambient occlusion. Now if I click and render, you can see now clear difference. Okay, for example, you switch it off and render. See, it's very fake looking, and we switch it or switch on ambient occlusion. Now it's more realistic. So this is spotlight. Now we come here and see some other light, infinite light. Delete these lights, all lights. And infinite light is infinite source of light. It can act as a sunlight if you want to give a feel of a sunlight, which is infinite. It does not matter you are close to the scene or you're far to the scene. The light intensity remains always same. So you create area shadows. Okay, the other way is you have these lights called physical sky. So render now. So you can see physical sky, as it named, it's a kind of a sky. Okay, and then what options you have here, you come to the basic, you have sky, sun, you can switch off on clouds. See, now you have clouds here in the background. Okay, you can create other options like rainbow. I don't know how rainbow will work, might be described somewhat here, where I don't know. Okay, and then you have presets, you can different kind of presets. See, now it's like more evening kind of a scene. So these are ready-made presets, they available. You can use them smartly to create very nice effects. See, so they are changing and the result is very nice. Okay, let's try adding atmosphere. What atmosphere will add, I don't know. I think atmosphere is adding, see the difference, atmosphere is adding like this yellowish tint which is here, which is without switching on atmosphere you cannot see that tint. So when we switch on this atmosphere, you can feel this tint of yellow here on your scene. So now this is your assignment, just go and play with these options. Just playing with options can create many kind of effects.